Hey there everyone, Ramesh here, back again with another video. In this video we will take a look into Java method references. Well, before learning Java method references, you have to first understand what is Lambda expression and functional interfaces. So I have already published a crash course on Java Lambda expressions as well as functional interfaces on my YouTube channel. So before learning Java method references, you should have to understand functional interfaces as well as Lambda expressions. Otherwise you won't able to understand method references, right? So I highly recommend you guys to first check out the Lambda expression and functional interfaces crash course, and then you can come back to method references. Without further ado, let's get started. Well, Java method references are basically introduced in Java 8. Well, method reference is used to refer a method of a functional interface. It is basically a compact and easy form of Lambda expression. Well, each time when you are using Lambda expression to just referring a method, you can replace your Lambda expression with a method reference. Well, basically we use a method reference to replace the Lambda expression. Well, for example, look at here the code snippet over here. This is the Lambda expression just to refer a method. For example, system.out.println. So println is the method, out is the object. Okay, so this Lambda expression is just to refer the method, that is println. So we can easily replace this Lambda expression with the method reference, and here you can see the syntax of converting the Lambda expression into method reference. So basically we remove this Lambda expression and we provide a double colon here in between object and function like this. So this is basically a method reference. Okay, here we are just referring to the method using method reference. Alright, so just remember, each time when you are using Lambda expression just to referring a method, you can replace your Lambda expression with the method reference. Well, let's take a look into the types of method references. Well, there are basically four types of method references. First one is method reference to a static method, and here is the syntax: class, double colon, and then static method. So whenever we use a method reference to call a static method, and this is how the syntax looks like. Second is reference to a instance method of a particular object, and this is the syntax. So this is the particular object, and then we are using method reference to call its method. Third is reference to an instance method of an arbitrary object of a specific type, and this is the syntax. Okay, so this is the class and this is the method reference to a instance method. Okay, and fourth is reference to a constructor, and this is the syntax: class name, double colon, new. Okay, don't worry, I will explain these four types with an example, so you will be easily able to understand the types of method references. Alright, now let's go ahead and let's head over to the IntelliJ IDEA and let's implement these four method references with an example. So first we will see method reference to a static method. Well, head over to the IntelliJ IDEA, and here I am going to create a new package, and let's call it as method reference. Hit enter, and then within this package let's create a class and let's call it as method references demo, something like this. Hit enter. Alright, and within this class let's create a main method, and first we're gonna see method reference to a static method. Okay, so first we're gonna write a Lambda expression, and then we'll convert that Lambda expression with the method reference. Okay, so each time you have a Lambda expression which is just referring to a method, then you can easily replace that Lambda expression with the method reference, right? So now let's go ahead and let's create a Lambda expression first. We're going to use an inbuilt functional interface, that is functional interface, and just pass here an integer and double as a type to this functional interface. Now let's go ahead and let's assign a Lambda expression to this functional interface. So here is the syntax: we need to pass the input, alright, and arrow symbol, and then this example is basically to calculate the square root of a number. In order to call the square root method, we're going to use math class from java.lang package. It has a square root method, right? So we can use this inbuilt method to calculate the square root of a number. So here I'm going to pass input. Alright, so this is the lambda expression, and just push the sys out and then function dot apply and then pass the number, let's say 4. We're going to calculate the square root of number 4. Now let's go and let's run the program and let's see the output. And there we go, the square root of number 4 is 2, right? Now let's go and let's replace this lambda expression with method reference. Okay, so this is using method reference. Well, in order to convert this lambda expression into method reference, what I can do is I can simply copy this and paste it here. And now let's convert this lambda expression into a method reference. So let me rename this, let's say function method reference. And in order to convert lambda expression into method reference, it's pretty simple. We have to first remove this part, and in case of method reference we don't have to pass the parameter, so remove this and put the semicolon and just replace this dot with double colon. That's it. This is your method reference. Alright, so this is how you can convert a lambda expression into method reference. Okay, so each time you have a lambda expression which is just referring to a method, then you can replace this lambda expression with the method reference. For example, so here you can see this is a lambda expression, it is just referring to a method called square root. Okay, and we can easily replace this lambda expression with the method reference like this. Now what we can do, we can put a sys out over here and then call function method reference and then call apply and then pass the number. That's it. Now let's run the program and let's see the output. And there we go, this is working as expected, isn't it? So this is how basically we use a method reference to a static method. Okay, so this is how we use the method reference to call a static method, right? So let's take a look into one more example to demonstrate method reference to a static method. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create one static method here. Let's say public static, it returns integer, and let's say addition is the method name, and then pass int a comma int b. Okay, and this should return addition of a plus b. Alright, perfect. Now we're gonna see how we can write the lambda expression to call this static additional method, right? So here what I'm gonna do is we're gonna first write the lambda expression and then we will convert that lambda expression with the method reference. Well, in order to write the lambda expression for this static method, we're gonna use by function functional interface. For example, by function functional interface, and it takes 3 types. Okay, so let's pass the type integer. So here we're gonna pass a wrapper class integer because this is a generic, right? So generic don't support primitive, so we have to pass the wrapper class. And then let's call it as by function, let's say by function lambda, and then we create a lambda expression and then we assign that lambda expression to this functional interface. So here is the syntax for the lambda expression: a comma b and then arrow symbol, and then we're gonna call the static method. So we use a class name to call the static method, right? So let's have a class name here, that is method reference demo, and then call a static method, that is additional, and then pass a comma b. It's pretty simple lambda expression, right? Now let's put a sys out and then by function lambda and then call apply method and then pass 10 comma 20. Alright, now let's go and let's run the program and let's see how this works. And there we go, 10 plus 20 30, right? Now let's go and let's see how we can replace this lambda expression with the method reference. So here I am going to write the comment, let's say using method reference. Alright, so in order to convert this lambda expression into a method reference, I am going to simply copy this and paste it over here, and then let's rename this, let's say by function. And in order to convert a lambda expression with the method reference, we need to first remove this part, and method reference don't have parameter. So remove this parameter list and then put semicolon and then replace this dot with the double colon. So this is your method reference, and then again put this is out and then call apply method and then pass 10 comma 20. Pretty simple. Now let's go and let's run the program, and there we go. Alright, it is working as expected. So this is how basically we use a method reference to call a static method. It's pretty simple, right? Now we understood the first type of method reference, that is method reference to a static method. Now let's go and let's take a look into reference to a instance method of a particular object. Alright, let's head over to the IntelliJ IDEA and let's create an example. Well, let me write the comment over here. Method reference to an instance method of an object. Well, in order to demonstrate this type of method reference, first I'm going to create a one functional interface. So let's have an interface, and then let's call the interface name as printable, something like this. Alright, and just create one method. Let's call it as print and then pass the string as a parameter, let's say message. And in order to mark this interface as a functional interface, we can also use add functional interface annotation. Alright, now within this class I am going to create a method public and let's say void, and let's give method name as display. Alright, and then just pass string as a method argument to this method, string message, and put this out over here. Or first what we're going to do is we're going to convert this message into uppercase, okay, to uppercase, and then we're going to put this out and then we print the message. Alright, perfect. So what we have done, basically we have created printable functional interface and we have created this display method, and then we have simply converted this input string into uppercase, and then we have just printed this string. Alright, now let's go and let's first see how to write a Lambda expression to implement this printable functional interface, and then we'll later convert that Lambda expression into method reference. Well, here we are going to demonstrate method reference to an instance method of an object, right? So first we need to create an object. So we're going to create an object of this class. Okay, so let's go and let's create an object of this class first, and then we call a method, its method, right? So let's say method references demo equal to new method references to demo, and then what we're going to do is we're going to write the Lambda expression first, and then we'll convert this Lambda expression into method reference. So basically we use a Lambda expression to implement a functional interface, right? In our case, printable is the functional interface, and here is the syntax. Let's pass a message as the input, and then we have an object and then call its method called display, and then pass the message. So this is how basically we write the Lambda expression to implement a functional interface. And if you can see here, this display method should have the same parameter and should have the same return type of this abstract method, right? So if you can see, print method has a return type void and has a parameter of type string. Okay, then only you can able to assign this Lambda expression to this functional interface. All right, I hope you understood this one. Now let's go and let's call this method printable dot print, and then pass something like hello world. All right, and then let's run the program and let's see how this works. And there we go, the hello world string is converted into uppercase and then it is printed to the console. Alright, so this is how we write the Lambda expression to implement this functional interface. And if you can open display method, so display method should have the same return type and same parameter type. Okay, that's why we can able to implement this method using Lambda expression, and then only you can able to assign to the printable functional interface. Alright, now let's go and let's convert this lambda expression with the method reference. Well, if you are using IntelliJ IDEA, then you can have a shortcut over here. So just click on display and just enter, alter and enter, and you will get option here like replace lambda with the method reference. So you can use this option to convert a lambda with method reference. Okay, so this is how you can see in IntelliJ IDEA. Okay, IntelliJ IDEA will basically provide a shortcut to convert lambda with the method reference. Alright, but we're going to convert manually this lambda expression with the method reference. So now I'm going to simply write the comment here, let's say using method reference, and then I'm going to paste this line, and let's convert this lambda expression with the method reference. So let's call it as printable method reference. And in order to convert this from lambda expression with the method reference, let's remove this lambda part, and let's also remove this parameter list, put the semicolon and remove this dot with the double colon. So this is your method reference, and then simply call printable method reference dot print method, and then pass hello world. Alright, and then let's go and let's run this program and let's see the output. Well, let me run the program, and you can able to see hello world string is converted into uppercase and it is printed to the console. Alright, so this is how basically we use a method reference to an instance of an object. So this is basically object and we are calling its method using method reference. That's why method reference to an instance of an object. Okay, so this is the object and this is its method, and we are using method reference to call a method of this object, right? That's the reason this is the name. Well, so far we have seen method reference to a static method and reference to an instance method of a particular object. Now let's go and let's see reference to a static method of an arbitrary object of a specific type. Okay, so this is little bit confusion, but let me create an example so that you will be definitely going to understand this method reference type. Okay, let me head over to the IntelliJ IDEA. Well, here I am going to write the comment first. Reference to an instance method of an arbitrary object. Well, sometimes we call a method of argument in a lambda expression. In that case, we can use a method reference to call an instance method of an arbitrary object of a specific type. So let's go and let's create one simple example to understand this method reference type. So let's use function functional interface. Well, function functional interface basically takes input and it returns the result. Okay, and just pass the type, first type as a string and second type as a string. Alright, and let's call it as string function, and then pass a lambda expression, assign the lambda expression to this function functional interface. So here is the lambda expression syntax. Let's have an input of type string. You can also mention string like this. Okay, but we can remove this type. Compiler will automatically infer the type here by looking into this type here. Okay, so you can keep or you can remove. So let's put the arrow symbol, and then here what we're going to do is we're going to convert a string into lowercase by using string provided to lowercase method. I'm going to call input of type string and then simply call to lowercase. Alright, so if you can see here, input is basically a argument or parameter of lambda expression, right? And here we are calling a method of this argument. Okay, so this is nothing but a reference to an instance method of an arbitrary object. So input is basically arbitrary object. Okay, if you can read this sentence over here, sometimes we call a method of argument in a lambda expression. If you can see, this is the argument of the lambda expression and we are calling its method over here. Okay, so this is basically called a method reference to an instance method of an arbitrary object. So if you have a lambda expression like this, then you can convert this lambda expression with the method reference. Okay, I hope you understood this method reference type? Well, whenever you have a lambda expression, it has an argument, and if you call its argument method, then you can replace this lambda expression with the method reference. Okay, now let's go and let's put the sys out and then call string function and then call its method apply, and here let's say Java guides. Okay, now let's run the program and let's see how this works. And there we go, Java guides is converted into lowercase. Now let's go and let's see how to replace this lambda expression with the method reference. So here let me simply copy this, and here first I want to write the comment here using method reference. Okay, and paste it here and simply remove this, and input is basically a string, right? So let's have a string here and then replace this dot with double colon and then replace this parameter list. Alright, this is your method reference, and this reference variable is already exist, so let's rename this. Let's say string function method reference. Okay, perfect. So this is how we basically replace this lambda expression with the method reference. If you are using IntelliJ IDEA, then you can use IntelliJ IDEA provided option to convert this lambda expression with the method reference. For example, just place this cursor on this method and then press Alt Enter, and you will get option to replace a lambda with method reference, and just hit enter. So this will convert a lambda with method reference. Okay, so this is another option. Alright, so let me uncomment this and let me put the sys out and let me call the method and let me pass the Java guides as a input. Okay, let me run the program and let's see how this works. And there we go. Okay, so the method reference that we have written is working as expected. Alright, so this is how basically we write the method reference to an instance method of an arbitrary object. Well, whenever you have a lambda expression with a method argument and you are calling a method of this argument, then you can go ahead and replace this lambda expression with the method reference. Okay, well, let me write one more example to demonstrate this method reference type so that you will understand better. So here I have created an array with these elements, and I am using arrays class to sort this array. Okay, so if you can see here, this sort takes two parameters. First one is a string array and second one is the functional interface, and here we have provided a lambda as an implementation of functional interface, and this is lambda expression. And if you can closely observe this lambda expression, it takes s1 and s2 as a arguments, and you can see here s1 argument we are calling compare to ignore case method of this s1 argument. Okay, so this method reference states that whenever you have a lambda expression with the argument, and if you are calling the method of this argument, then you can replace this lambda expression with the method reference, right? So that is what we have done here. So here we have basically replaced this lambda expression with the method reference. Okay, so this is another example to demonstrate this method reference type. Well, let's take a look into the next type of method reference, that is a reference to a constructor. Well, let's head over the IntelliJ IDEA and let me demonstrate this type. So here I am going to write the comment that is a reference to a constructor. Well, in this example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to convert a list into set, and then I will show you how we can replace the lambda expression with the method reference. So here first of all I'm going to create a list of fruits. Okay, let's call it as fruits, and then let's use array list implementation. Let's add a couple of fruits to this list. Let's say banana, fruits dot add, and then let's say apple, fruits dot add, and then pass mango, and then fruits dot add, and then pass watermelon, something like this. Now let's convert this list into set using lambda expression. So we're going to use again the function functional interface, it takes two arguments. Let's say first argument is list of type string, okay, and second argument of type set, it takes again string as a type, and let's call it as set function. And then let's write the lambda expression and then assign to this functional interface. So we need to pass the list of string, right? That is fruits. Let's say fruits list. Let's call it as a fruit list. And then this is the arrow symbol. Alright. And then here simply call new hash set and then pass fruits list. That's it. Okay, so whenever you pass a list to the hash set constructor, then hash set constructor will, this will convert a list into set, right? So this is how basically we write the lambda expression to convert a list into set. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm gonna put the sys out over here, and then we call apply method, and then we pass a list, let's say fruits. Okay, now let me run the program and let's see how this works. And there we go. Alright, we have printed the set right here by using system.out.println. Now let's go and let's see how we can convert this lambda expression with the method reference. So let me simply copy this, and here I want to write the comment, let's say method reference, using method reference basically, and then paste it over here, and let's call it as set function method reference. Well, in order to convert this lambda expression with the method reference, first of all remove this part. Alright, and parameter list is not required in case of method reference, so just put a double colon and then new. That's it. We have simplified a lambda with a method reference like this, right? And then put the sys out over here, and then set function method reference, and then call apply method, and then pass the fruits list. Okay, and then just go ahead and run the program, and let's see how this works. And there we go. So this is how basically we use a method reference to reference to a constructor. Okay, here we have object of hash set, and we have replaced this with a method reference to a constructor using method reference syntax, double colon followed by new. Well, whenever you have a lambda expression with this logic, then you can go ahead and use method reference to a constructor type like this. Alright, these are the 4 method references, and I have demonstrated all of them with an example. Alright, and these 4 types of method references are pretty important. So whenever you have a lambda expression which is just referring to a method, then you can go ahead and replace that lambda expression with the respective method reference type. Alright, I hope you understood what is a method reference and what are the different types of method references and how we can use method references to replace the lambda expression. Alright, great. I will see you in a next video.